Good morning, New Life. My name is Lyn Adams. I am a member of the Niger House Church, shepherded by Alan and Chi Nong, home of the great surf and turf. Yum. I just want to start by saying one thing that will sum up this whole testimony. God's timing is always perfect, even when you don't see it or we don't see it and understand it ourselves. Let me start with a little background on me. I was born here in Houston when our football team was the Oilers, when the Astros were playing in the Astrodome, and the Rockets were playing at the Summit. Yes, Lakewood Church. I guess it's a way of telling you about Houston in the 70s and 80s without telling you how old I am. I grew up in a Southern Baptist family. I am an only child to my mom, but I also have three much older half-brothers from my father's first marriage. He was a night shift police officer for Harris County Sheriff's Department, so it was always just mom and me because he was always working or sleeping. My childhood was a happy one. I had a large family that always did things together for the holidays. I saw them all the time, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents. I went to church with my mom, Meemaw, and Peepaw all the time. I loved Sunday school, vacation Bible school, and especially loved Jesus. Yes, I was that kid. I even read my Bible at a very young age. I was baptized on Easter Sunday, April 3rd, 1988. I was 9. Life was not always sunshine and roses, as they say. I learned at a very young age. My parents divorced when I was young. When my Meemaw passed away, most of the family stopped coming around. She was the glue. That was the beginning of a downward spiral of the twists and turns of my teenage years. My mom remarried, and I rebelled against my stepfather and stepbrother. They were both abusive towards me in very many ways. I skipped school, got bad grades, and started dressing in Gothic-type clothes and argued with my mom constantly. I hated my father for what he did to my family, so I stopped seeing him and talking to him. I was suffering inside. Bad things were happening. I started to have feelings that God had abandoned me and didn't love me anymore, just like my father. I made an ultimate bad choice of hanging out with the wrong kind of people and ended up being raped at the age of 14. After a time when I was seeing my father again, he had made his own bad choice with sexual advances towards me that were inappropriate when I would stay with him on the weekends. So I was not allowed to see him anymore. My whole life during this time was not a happy one. I did drugs, my stepfather would force alcohol down my throat, and my stepbrother would also make sexual advances towards me. I was hating my mom for putting me through this situation to begin with. I lived like this for most of my high school years. I even tried to end my life twice, not caring about anyone or anything. I almost succeeded with suicide once and ended up in a psych hospital for over a month. I ended up dropping out of school. Afterwards, my mom had enough and sent me to my dad again. My thoughts at the time were my mom was now abandoned me, so who was left? It is this moment that was breaking for me. I knew I needed to turn back to God. I knew that I may have abandoned him, but in my heart, he never left me or stopped loving me. Why is it when we are feeling truly alone is when we want God back in our lives? God should always be number one in our lives, even in the middle of all the storms and the suffering and the valleys. Even when we will always need him, always. I changed my life around. I went back to church and even went back to school to finish out my senior year. This is when I met my future husband, Anthony. We fell for each other super fast and was married right after high school. He will say it was a cheaper apartment deposit. I will say it was me running from my stepdad, but God had a deeper love and purpose in his mind for our marriage. We were both gifted a precious gift in the form of our special daughter, Jocelyn, her name meaning happy and joyful. Anthony was there for me when I lost my mom to breast cancer. My mom and I had become the best of friends again after my daughter was born, and she was the best at giving me advice. She loved spending time with her granddaughter, and Jocelyn had a very special connection to her grandma, even in the form of a very special goodbye the day before my mom passed. Jocelyn even knew, even when we didn't. Depression and anxiety and now grieving has been a big part of my life since the day my mom went to heaven. So you ask what all this has to do with Transforming Life Bible Study. Well, I will tell you. I almost didn't sign up for this class. I always had excuses that I needed to stay home with Jocelyn. She needed me. I'm her mama. and it was a 13-week course, not the shorter classes that I was used to. Anthony had changed so much spiritually by being here at New Life, and he wanted me to become more spiritually mature. So he told me to sign up and he would stay with Jocelyn. This is where Todd's timing comes in. I learned about spiritual disciplines in the early years of the church, the basics like prayer and study, never the in-depth material you'll get from reading Richard Foster's book, Celebration of Discipline, the Path to Spiritual Growth. Meditation, prayer, fasting, study, simplicity, solitude, submission, service, confession, worship, guidance, and celebration should be a big part of every child of God and a Christian's life. The course material that New Life provides for using these spiritual disciplines in your life showed me that I was truly missing something in my life that was putting my spiritual life at a standstill. Growing up, I felt that a lot of these disciplines were for pastors, deacons, and those who were in seminary, but practicing them in the last 13 weeks has prepared me for the most difficult time that was coming in my life. Again, God's timing is always perfect. During the weeks of class, I had a personal spiritual assignment that I was to work on. I chose to stop online shopping addiction and to start saving money. It was never really about the money, even though God had a plan about that. I thought buying things would make me feel better, fill a void in my heart, something I was missing. I was seeking the wrong things, temporary solution, when I needed a permanent solution. I didn't need material items to make me happy. I needed more of God. My heart condition was truly being tested. I still fail at times, but I learned something about myself during the assignment. As you can see, God is what can truly fill your void and mine. During the most special and freeing moment of the 13 weeks at the letter burning ceremony, I was able to let go of the past hurts and heartache, write letters of forgiveness to both my parents and to the person who raped me, and burn them. The moment I let go and prayed, how I truly felt, there are no real words but to say freedom. Free, yes, but without Jesus Christ in my life, I could never have let those hurts go. April 5th, 2024, the day Jocelyn passed away. I continued with God's strength. I practiced my spiritual disciplines. I went to class. I did my homework, all while I was hurting and suffering inside. I was lost in what God had in store for my life after Jocelyn. I started using more of the disciplines of guidance and prayer and leaned on Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. The support I received from my class, I will continue forever be grateful for. God placed them all in my path for a reason. Again, God's timing is perfect. Thank you, Tammy, Jason, Andre, Susan, Kathy, and Rebecca. You all listened to my cries, my hurts, my heart, how hard life can be, even before Jocelyn even went into the arms of Jesus. Thank you, Suzanne, Jackie, Ann, Karis, Monica, and Sonia, for all the great food, and most importantly, the laughter and fellowship during our meals. I truly enjoyed the celebration discipline on the last day of class. What joy and peace and a big smile it brought to me, with Jocelyn would have loved to see her mama do. To my prayer partner, Catherine, who I like to call Kat, you heard more about me in my life than anyone. You prayed and cried together. We even washed each other's feet. Thank you, my forever friend and sister in Christ. You must have followed each other all the way from 201 for a reason. I recommend, if you haven't already, to take Transforming Life, because your life will be truly changed as mine was, if you only embrace it and be truly transformed. Who knows, I might even take it again. We as children of God will continue to stumble, but there is always a way to pick yourself back up. I have always enjoyed the disciplines of study and prayer, but I have found respect for other disciplines in class. I especially like simplicity. Suffering from anxiety and worry most of my life, I find myself practicing it a lot more now. I am not perfect. I am a mess. I am still on a path to spiritual growth and will use these disciplines I have learned again and again because it keeps my spiritual life in check and full of joy. Even in the midst of the storms, God's timing is always perfect. As I have learned, Habakkuk 2:3 says this, "For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come and not delay." I may not understand why things happen, but God knows me better than I know myself, and his reasons are justified. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. People always are asking me how I am doing. I'm not okay. I miss Jocelyn all the time. I am lost. But I'm praying, meditating, and seeking God's guidance. But I feel joy knowing that I will see her pretty smile again, and heaven will be more beautiful. Thank you, New Life, for your love, prayers, and support. And thank you for providing Bible study classes that continue to equip us with resources to living a godly life. Thank you for listening. And remember, you are so loved.